Welcome to Hate to Wait, where two lifelong dieters talk about their current struggles with weight loss. Diets, we've tried them all. We are not doctors. We don't play them on TV or on this podcast. Join our journey because we're all in this together.
Good morning, Emily.
Good morning, John. How are you?
I'm tired of this whole pandemic thing. Have you had enough yet?
I'm done. There's like a moratorium in my house on talking about it as if it's something new and novel. It's kind of like, nope, this is where we are. This is where we live. We cannot change it. We're in this house.
You know, it's funny.
Focus on something else.
I think everything, the country gets divided on everything. The country is dividing on this right now. Like, some people are like, let us out. This is not real. And healthy people can get it. And you just got to keep the old people away from it. And I'm almost to the point where, like, let's let them out. Let's see what happens. After a while, after your kids just nag you, you let them out. Right? You're like, get out.
Fine. Touch the stove. Touch the stupid stove for all I care.
Listen, if you break your leg, don't come running to me. Old joke. How is your week? How's things been going for you?
My week has been a week of indulging.
Really?
Yeah. We're coming up on my birthday, and I always just indulge like crazy around my birthday. Anything that's slightly indulgent, I give myself a pass for. Usually I feel like I'm a little overstringent with myself, but on my birthday week, everything flies out the window. And also, because of this pandemic, we are buying food that we know for a fact is shelf stable. Because, as I talked about, ordering with Instacart, our order that I just got a few weeks ago took 2 weeks. 2 weeks to get. So in my head, 2 days later, I'm like, we should order again. Even though we haven't gone through our groceries, let's just order again in case it takes another 2 weeks. Well, that was the day Instacart decided to work that day, and we got delivery the very next day for Instacart. So we had double the groceries. And from buying the groceries, I was buying shelf-stable stuff. I was buying stuff that were in lunches in the 90s and 80s, like those 6 packs of crackers and peanut butter and crackers and cheese because my son eats them and they're a fun little snack. And my mother-in-law bought us a giant case of them too. And I'm buying these things that for a long time before all of this, that stuff didn't come into my house because I knew that it was just a slippery slope. Or for me, it was like a sugary slope. As soon as I start eating, I want more. And when I crave snacks, I'm not craving an apple. I'm not craving a banana. I'm not craving broccoli. I'm craving the crap snacks that are shelf stable. I made the mistake of, in this ShopRite Instacart, getting a giant tub of those cheesy balls.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about? The cheesy poof ones?
The 55-gallon drum of cheesy balls.
Yeah. Do you know how far I've gotten into that 55-gallon drum?
Probably say you're probably halfway down.
Oh, more than that, like 53 pounds down. I didn't realize because the only time I've ever gotten that drum was when it was work. We got one of those for work, for our area at work. And when other people have to share this with you, you're not sitting there grabbing the big bowls. You're not bringing the whole tub to sit down with you while you eat some Gilmore Girls. No. So when that giant tub of cheesy poofs lasted about a month at work, I'm thinking in my head, man, this is a really smart decision. That thing took forever to go through at work. Nope, not when no one's watching you, not when there aren't coworkers judging you. That tub, it was like how I bring my cat around the house because he's so large that I'm like, oh, you look like you need to lay down on the bed. How about I pick you up off the couch and bring you over to the bed? I do that with this tub. It's like, oh, giant tub of cheesy poofs. Let me pick you up out of the kitchen. Let me bring you down, sit on my lap. Come watch this show with me. And When it comes to cheesy things like that, like Cheetos, anything with that cheese dust, I call the cheese dust essence. And you get essence all over your hands. And when you eat so much, so many cheesy poofs, and you finally get to the point of, okay, I've reached my limit. Then you have the essence on your hands left over. And it's like a delicious dessert. And I am disgusting. I'm so glad that there aren't cameras on me all the time to watch me like lick that essence off my hand so happily of all the cheesy crumbs I have produced. It is disgusting. And it shows. It shows that I'm indulging myself. And you know what? Get that sound clip ready because part of me is like, I'm not even sorry.
you know what? I don't even know if I still have that on here. Oh, yeah, I do. Hang on. Here it is.
I'm not even sorry. I'm not even sorry. Because here's the thing. It's my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Excuse. Not today. It is our show's 2-year anniversary.
It is. Though. I was going to say that. It is our show. And that's how much show prep we do. It's our show. We said this 2 weeks ago. We said it's our 2nd anniversary. And then today I was sitting here and I was like, oh, look, it's the 23rd. It's our 2nd anniversary. I mean, we do no prep.
The only reason I knew is because I just finished the show notes for that episode that we talked about it on.
So the one thing I noticed is you said you used to take that big giant tub of stuff into work and everybody would open it up and stick their... Now, could you imagine post-COVID-19?
I'm pretty sure that between the 5 of us, because we split it in our department between 5 of us, and maybe a few others who came in from other departments to grab it, but we were all very... very conscious. I don't think anybody stuck their hand in. I think we would all take a plate and kind of put stuff on their plate. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And that's one thing about not having a place of work anymore. We used to share food all the time. That was actually something that I would think about constantly as contributing to having trouble losing weight is somebody would bake. We had bakers where I worked and they would just bring in their cakes and their cookies. And Jen, I know you're listening. It was all delicious. I'm not complaining one single bit. But
it was too delicious. It was too delicious.
It was too delicious. Yes.
Right. No, I get it. And we used to do the same thing when I used to work in an office, you know, that people would bring in their leftover Halloween candy and their leftover Easter candy and their leftover birthday cake. You know, oh, we had birthday and we have a half a sheet cake left. And I was like, you know, you always give it that look left, look right. Because as a fat person, you don't want to be in there hitting at the thing all the time. You'd go in there, you'd whack off a hunk and you'd sneak it back. Always throw a napkin over it so they didn't want to see. So you didn't see how the size of the piece. And you'd sneak it back to your cubicle and you would turn your back to everybody and you would eat it in shame. Shame. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I would be going downstairs to the break room and saying, oh, I'm just grabbing 2 pieces. One is for a coworker. That coworker, quote unquote, never got that second piece. I ate it on the stairs on the way up to eat my 1 piece by myself at my desk.
I got to tell you, I even hate saying this, but I'm going to say it. Back in the day when I would go to a fast food place, let's say Taco Bell, and I would order so much food that I would think about ordering 2 drinks so it didn't look like I was the only one eating all this. Yeah.
Yeah.
2 drinks.
Yeah. I've done that at buffets where I get so excited for a buffet because I want to try all the things. So I end up having 2 or 3 plates just for myself. And I've done that. I remember in college when you just went and you had a meal card and you just swiped your card and you could eat whatever you wanted from the buffet. I used to bring an extra cardigan or a jacket and put it on another chair thinking that, oh, this tray is for somebody else. And when nobody's looking, I'd switch the trays. They'd both be for me.
Yeah.
For sure. And anybody who knew me and my wardrobe knew that's also her jacket. I don't know why she's pretending like somebody else is coming.
Back in my elevator repair days, there was a point for about 6 months where we maintained, I was part of the maintenance crew for the University of Pennsylvania. All right. So the college. And they had 4 different huge cafeterias for... Was that what you called them? Cafeterias?
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cafeterias for whatever better word. And what we did was we made sure their elevators ran perfectly. And if there was ever a call, we would run, not walk, run to make sure it was fixed because their elevators had to run all the time. And what they would do for us was we were allowed to come in there and eat at any time, for free. They would just let us come in and eat. because they said we throw most of the stuff away because the kids don't eat it or whatever. And we would have a schedule of where we go because we didn't want to look like we're working one place.
Yeah.
So we would go to 4 different ones. We would have breakfast one place, lunch another place. And a lot of times when I was single, I would go and have dinner before I went home. So I was eating 3 meals a day at the University of Penn. And I'm telling you what, they had really good food.
Yeah.
All for free. It was amazing. So
it's amazing the stuff that I have found that I do for free food, free good food.
Yes.
And I mean, there's always the one coworker who has zero shame about being the scavenger in the office. And they get that moniker. It's like, that's the office scavenger. If there's ever food in the office, that person is going to be the one to find it. And I never wanted to be that person because that came with like the shame of, oh, don't put this out. The scavenger is going to be around. They make their rounds every day to make sure that anybody has free food. Anybody have candy in their office? You don't want to be that person. But the stealthiness of it is like,
we're good.
It's almost just as bad.
Yeah, we're good at what we do.
Yeah, we're good at eating.
Yeah, we're good. Well, not only that, but we're good at obtaining food stealth-like. Like people would say, I don't know why you gain, you're just heavy. You don't look like you eat that much. That's by design.
Yeah, that's very true.
Right?
That is true. Yeah, because I don't want to give people proof that I'm doing this to myself.
Yeah, how many out there that's listening right now, how many of you have done something like we're talking about? How many of you have been, I guess, shameful of how much you want to eat or what you're going to eat or, or being, judged? So you have these little tricks that you would do. I mean, there would be plenty of times where I would go out and go to a fast food place and then not go home with it because I wanted to eat it. And then I would go home. And this was when I was married. So no one would know that I did that. I would eat dinner too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll do that to myself. It's almost self-sabotage. It's like I've eaten this whole time. I've talked about how this week I was very indulgent, and with those cheesy poofs, again, there's no bottom to something like that with just those puffs of delicious, just drooling thinking about the essence on my hand right now, but there's no end to it. And then I'm thinking, well, I ate crap all day. I should eat dinner. Not, I've probably gotten enough calories for the day. It's like, well, that wasn't an official meal, so it doesn't really count. It's just something I did in preparation for a meal or because I was bored waiting for another meal to happen. And I have to watch out for those. I'm very happy for intermittent fasting so that at least at 6 o'clock every day, it's like, no, done. We're done. This is your last cheesy poof. Lick the essence now. It's not going to be around forever.
Cheesy poofs. I will see you tomorrow.
I love my cheesy poofs. It's so bad. And you know what? You know what it is? I need to stop buying this crap. It's not the fact that I'm eating this crap. It's the fact that I'm buying it and thinking that I've changed enough where I can say no to it. I can't.
There are trigger
It's too
foods.
delicious and it's so comforting and it makes me feel happy. And in a time when you open up Twitter and just, nope, this was a mistake. I want to close this. And when you read the headlines, it's like, man, the world could be going to shit, but at least I have my cheesy poofs and I got to get out of that.
Annette says, Emily, your words about cheesy poofs ring so true. I wish I could do that in an English accent because that you can't read that in an American accent. It doesn't ring like it would if you would do it in a British accent. Emily, your words about cheesy puffs ring so true. It's my best shot at it.
It's better than, you know what? I like the over-the-top English accents that people will do. I hate when people are actually trying to do a good British accent and they fail terribly. Like, I'd rather have you be over the top and know that you're bad at accents than really try to, oh no, I speak with a perfect British accent. And then you don't. You know you don't. It's just,
You talk about cheesy puffs like I talk about tapioca pudding.
I know. It really is. And you don't picture that from me. But really, I think my worst fear is somebody actually finding me mid-licking my hand of the cheesy essence. Like, that is my worst fear right there. Just all the evidence. There's no denying that that is exactly what I'm doing, and that I've eaten so many cheesy poofs that my hand is basically an orange glove of fuzziness.
I'm beckoning Mark right now to take a picture of this.
You know what? Mark will get the same reaction you do. I'm not even sorry. I'll wave.
I'm not even sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not even sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, and thank God they don't make tapioca pudding in the same kind of container as those cheesy puffs. That's all I got to tell you right now.
And the other thing is, in my head, I'm like, well, this will be a fun container for the kids to play with when it's empty. So I might as well work toward that goal of emptying it out.
It's a Yorkshire accent. I wonder what Yorkshire was. Mine a Yorkshire accent, or does she speak in a Yorkshire accent? I don't know which it. And I couldn't do I don't know the difference between the accents. Although I edited a podcast for a client the other day, and he said he lived in Boston, and I said, this guy has a South Jersey accent like I've never heard before. And then he was talking, he's like, yes, I grew up in South Jersey. I'm like, there it is. There it is. And it never made, and I'll tell you what, the other thing was I wanted to hire a speech coach immediately to get rid of my accent. I hate it. But in English, I wonder if they could teach me how to get rid of my South Jersey accent by teaching me how to speak with a British accent.
Well, I always like those who are bilingual and they learn English from a British speaker. So you hear a lot of Indians who have gone to England, and well, clearly they speak with a British accent. But a lot of times when it's a second language, they have that British accent.
Apparently, I do not have a Yorkshire accent.
You are not. You do not have a Yorkshire accent.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's been an indulgent week of snack food, and I still have my boundaries of stay in my window. That's kind of my only boundary at this point. Just stay in your window. This won't last forever. And that's another thing I'm telling myself. And it's really nice, speaking of the 2-year anniversary of this show, is knowing that this is just temporary. This won't be forever. This isn't me giving up. This is me having a week, needing a week. My workload is a little lightened this week for my birthday. I'm kind of just taking it easy, letting myself gain the weight and saying, hey, we'll have our week. Last night, you know what though? It's funny having these weeks now, because I would have these weeks before all this and then feel like crap and not make the connection that it's because I'm eating crap. It was just, oh, I feel like crap. Probably because I broke my diet and I'm a terrible person. Now it's, hey, I just ate a piece of ice cream cake with a side of ice cream, which I did, and then needed to take a nap. That's the food. That's the awful food, because it just sat there like a brick. And I couldn't do anything else. It's like, maybe I should get up. Maybe I should do some yoga. Maybe I should go do some work. No. I have a brick in my stomach. I'm going to take a shower. And I'm going to lay down until this brick dissipates enough so I can actually do what I need to do for the rest of the day. And knowing that it's the food, that it's the choices that I'm making that makes me feel that crappy, it was nice to kind of come up with, what am I going to talk about today? I know I'm going to talk about treating myself. I'm not very happy. Well, I'm not happy with the number on the scale. I'm not happy that the number on the scale went up. Spoiler alert for the weigh-in at the end of the show. But I know exactly why, and I've been here before many, many times, and I know that it can be changed. As long as this isn't like, well, episode 94, this is when Emily starts to gain the weight back.
Okay, so here's the thing, and this is one of the things I've learned in 94 episodes of this, is that even though I do lose control sometimes, the lost control is not for as long. It would be weeks. Mm-hmm. Now it's sometimes a day, or it can be hours. So in other words, okay, so here's a story. And then this just happened last night. I ordered a pizza because I order one a week. All right, so I ordered a pizza and I was just going to eat 2 slices, put the rest away. No, I ate 5 slices last night. There's only 3 to put away, but I did. I ate 5 slices last night. Now, normally I would just be like, oh, there we go. And then it would just turn into, let's go do something else. Let's go do something else. Let's eat something else. But that doesn't happen anymore. I'm like, well, okay, now we're back on it again. The window's closed. There won't be any more eating until after 12 tomorrow. All right, so the window's closed. So the binges they're not as extended, And they're not really as bad because at least there was 3 pieces left. Any other time, that pizza would be gone.
Yeah.
I would eat the whole pizza. I did stop myself after 5. Well, this is what I did. I started off with 2 slices like I normally do. And then I went back and I went to pull 2 more slices off. And then it pulled 3. And I was like, So,
well, it's like nachos. It's like you're trying, if there are nachos around and you're trying to be good, there's no being good around nachos. Because once they stick together, if you get a whole, glob of cheese over a bunch of nachos, your diet goes out the window because look at this amazing contribution to the world of art that is this nacho. If I don't eat this giant nacho, it will all be for waste. What's even the point of living if I don't eat this nacho?
No, you're right. And one of the things I've learned is right now in this area, it is hard to get a grocery delivery or get groceries picked up for you where you just go in and pick them up. And I'm not going into a store. I'm just not doing it. I'm not wearing a mask. I'm not going in the store. I didn't do this before the pandemic. Okay. So
this isn't John just being stubborn. He didn't go to stores before any of this.
No, I had it all done. So I'm having a hard time, even with getting groceries. I even tried I have stuff in the cart now and I keep going looking. I can't find a delivery date or a pickup date. But here's the good thing. Around the corner here was a produce place that sold to only restaurants and stuff. Well, they're just selling to common people. So you go on their website and you pick out, and I'm getting grapes and sweet potatoes, and I got a whole 3-pound thing. It looks like a brick of baby spinach and grape tomatoes and all. So now I'm making a salad. So I'm getting fresh. It's easier to get fresh food right now than it is to get the other stuff. And it's like today, I ordered it Tuesday, and I can pick it up today at 2:00. So, I have it. So, and I'm not worried about it. And it also, there's milk and butter and eggs. I can get 30 eggs. So I really do feel like I'm fine. I still order from the pizza place around the corner because he's a local business. I order a pizza a week. I know the guy, and he's whenever I usually, I always do it online. I have an app on my phone. And now when he sends up, he always writes a note. Thanks, John, on the receipt. So again, I'm not, at first I was worried about getting food in the house.
Yeah. But
now I'm not. So the being anxious over being able to get food is subsided. So I'm not doing except for the pizza last night. And here's the other thing. I can't get tapioca pudding. Can't even fall in the cart anymore. So I don't know what's going on out there, why they can't make tapioca pudding. Why we have a tapioca pudding shortage, I don't know, but I want someone to get the bottom of it. Wow. So it's your birthday this week. You're coming off of the Shark Week.
Oh, yeah. Coming off of Shark Week. Shark Week finally happened. I was very happy about that.
You're busy, too, because you're reading your book. You're reading your book to make an audiobook.
Yeah, I'm doing an audiobook of the story behind, which is really what you see in that Facebook group. So I'm doing that live in the story behind discussion group. And really what you see there is pretty much the work that I'm putting into it because I'm doing all the recording and the punch and roll. I just have to go over and listen to the episodes again just to make sure I didn't repeat any lines or anything. And then
I've
send
snuck
it off
in and
to the
listened.
audiobook people.
I've snuck in and listened a couple times.
Nice.
Yeah, you do an amazing job with it because I couldn't imagine if I wrote a book and then had to go in and read it. It would be me reading the same line like 15 times.
Part of that is really getting myself out of my comfort zone, especially with my writing. And my writing to me, it's funny because when I write episodes of the story behind or when I write notes for this show, I know I'm writing to perform. I know that whatever I'm writing, whatever I'm going to talk about is something that's going out to the public. Something about writing, though, writing in my journal, when I know I'm just writing for me, or even when I was writing the book itself, I was very conscious of it's just me writing. It just has to live up to my own standards and then, give it to a publisher and let them shine it all up and make it pretty. And it's actually much harder to read my book when I was writing in that frame of mind of I don't have to perform this than reading a script that I already know it's going to go out there. So doing my audiobook and reading that, it's been, I don't know. I'm more nervous about that going live and doing that and reading my own writing than I am every week coming on live and telling our listeners all about our week, all about Shark Week, all about my life, all about my cycles, all about binging and my cheesy poof essence.
Yeah. No, I get
I'm much happier telling people that than actually reading stuff that I wrote quietly, privately at 3 a.m. trying to hit a deadline for a book. I don't know why. It's really been definitely a test in my comfort level.
Well, one thing this podcast has been for me is truth serum. So there's a lot of things I've said on this show that I've never said to anyone. I get in trouble for it too, because I'll come in here and I'll say something, and then Sam will listen, and then she'll say, I didn't know that. And I'm like, I wasn't really going to share that. It just kind of, something happened. It came to my mind. And then again, for this show, I keep thinking about the listener that's listening and is having the same problems and think it's them. And they're the only one that does this. And the shame that comes along with that. Like ordering the 2 drinks when you're going, because you've ordered so much takeout food from the drive-through that you don't want people judging you, thinking, "My God, look at what that guy eats. Well, look at the size of him. No wonder he eats that much," or whatever. You order 2 drinks so it doesn't look like you're ordering so much.
And the funny thing is, we're saying this stuff out loud on a podcast, knowing specifically that people will listen. Meanwhile, we're so concerned about what strangers in the restaurant with us are thinking.
Right. Yeah. Like, who cares?
I know.
You're absolutely right. Yeah. And it's one of the biggest things for me is the therapy that I have here and the learning and coming back every week, even when I've gained 10 pounds over the past month and you've took 2 pounds off, and then, and it's this weekend and not worrying about it, being uncomfortable long enough to get comfortable where, this is just a race with me. This is just me and my race, and learning that, just trying to make good habits. I started, believe it or not, this past week. Sorry, Sam, this is the first time you're hearing this. I started affirmations because I'm going to be honest with you. I thought affirmations were stupid. I'm still kind of in that thing. I feel stupid doing them.
Everybody does. Everybody feels stupid doing them. I love the affirmation tapes that even start off with, "You might feel stupid doing this." And I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, no shit.
Yeah. So it hasn't taken effect. It hasn't taken hold. I still feel dumb doing them. But I'm like, if all these people are doing it and they say it works, are they lying? They're not lying. It has to work. So I have to get through this. And coming from the Northeast and growing up at the time that I did, it's just, in my humble opinion, affirmations seem like weakness. Like I have to tell myself what I'm grateful for. And then I feel like a boob doing it. But it's been a week now. I do it every morning. And I'm going to keep doing it until I start to believe it.
Yeah. I think affirmations are great. I journal affirmations every day. And I was actually I was being interviewed on Step by Step Podcasting by Sarah Mikutel. And she was asking me about morning pages and getting started and affirmations. And I even apologized. And I normally don't do this, but I apologized for getting a bit woo. And sometimes I do that on the show too. But I'm like, it might sound a bit woo, but every new moon I come up with a new affirmation. And for those 28 to 29 days until the new moon, I love the face you just made of like eyes popping out of your skull. Yeah, every new moon I come up with a new affirmation that I want to work on for those 28 to 29 days. Some people want to do it the first of the month. That's fine. I need something to keep me on task and know that, okay, every month we're going to pick something new and we're going to work on that. And we don't have to work on everything all at once. Trying to be a well-rounded individual by trying to work on all the aspects of your personality is going to be overwhelming and it's not going to be sustainable. So having something like a specific affirmation or two for 4 weeks works out really well for me. It helps me focus on that. In fact, I just changed it over because we had a new moon yesterday. And
who knew?
What?
Who knew that there was a new? I don't even know how I would know. I wouldn't know what moon it was unless I was outside and went, "Wow, look, it's a full moon." I would not know the moon cycle.
I follow it a little too closely. Maybe not a little too closely, but I have an app on my phone. It tells me when the new moon and the full moon is. I actually have, you can put that on your Google Calendar. You can actually set it up. They have one of those calendars you can sign up for on there that when you click on it, it will show you, oh, this is the day of the full moon, the quarter moon, and whether or not our bodies are actually in tune with the moon, which I personally believe they are, but everybody has a right to their own opinion. It's still nice to just have a time frame of, okay, for the next 4 weeks, we're going to be working on this. This is going to be our focus. We don't have to focus on it the whole year. We'll come back to it next year around this time, around the new moon of going into Taurus. I'll get really woo. It's Aries going into Taurus. It's in my first house. It's going into that. So that's what I'm working on for this month yeah.
Well, there's something to be said, and it does look like it makes sense that a woman's menstrual cycle is in line perfectly with the moon cycle.
Mm-hmm.
And they say that a woman's cycle goes in 28 days or whatever the moon cycle is, because I don't know. I don't follow that one. And men's cycle is 24 hours. It's in a day.
Interesting.
It is interesting. And so we kind of go through that same kind of thing, but we do it in 24 hours.
Yeah.
Where women do it over the course of a month. And I think it's interesting. And I think that I don't think it's silly at all that you do that, because it does make sense with the way the moon goes, and the way a woman's cycle follows that is really amazing if you look at it.
Yeah, if you've listened to our last few episodes, I was 2 weeks late and I actually changed my cycle. Let's get really into it. Let's get deep. We're already this far in. I used to menstruate on the full moon, and now I menstruate on the new moon. It switched cycles because of all the stress. And I guess some moonology theorists, texts, I don't know if text is the right, some resources will say that, when your period falls on a full moon, it's when you need to internalize and look inwardly and look at what you have to change inwardly. And then when it changes to be in the new moon, this is when you want to be more outward. You want to show off more of your personality. You want to be more open to new ideas and open to sharing and vulnerable. And so now my cycle changed, and I'm like, all right, guys, I indulged in crap. Let me tell you about Cheesy Poof Essence.
See, and the thing is, you know about that because you read it. I wouldn't know about that. I would be clueless. So we could almost do a double-blind study where you would have women that know these facts.
Yeah, that's true.
And then you would have women that didn't know these facts, and to see if anything changed or if it actually, you could prove it to be true or not. Listen, I say if you believe it, it's true.
I know. I'm very much a student of the placebo effect. And my husband has said, Emily, buy whatever pills you think will work, because whatever you take, you always think works. And then you talk about it to everybody who will listen. Trust me, get me started on ashwagandha one day and how wonderful of a supplement it is. I don't know if it works. I'm probably just buying expensive pee. I don't care. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel productive. It makes me feel like it's healthy, and I like it.
Okay, hold on. You have to back up. You can't just lay something like that out and say it's not. What does it do? Or what's it supposed to do? And what is it? Because you just said Oshkosh Bagosh. You take Oshkosh Bagosh, and I don't even know what you're talking about.
So ashwagandha, ashwagandha. I think it might be ashwagandha, but it's, when I'm thinking of it phonetically, it's ashwagandha. It's a medicinal herb, and it's one that's, I want to say it's found in roots, but I've seen it listed in my mushroom coffee as an adaptogen, but it's found at Whole Foods, and it's part of the Ayurvedic way of living. So it's very much, if you're into yoga, meditation, it's a supplement that helps you with that, get more in touch with mindfulness. Actually, I'll bring up 12 proven health benefits of ashwagandha. I'll put the link to this in the show notes. This is from Healthline. I don't know why number one is an ancient medicinal herb. That's not a health benefit. Come on, people. Get your headlines correct. But saying that it's ancient makes it all of a sudden very magical. But it's known to increase energy levels, improve concentration, improve mood. The mood stabilization, that one I feel like I can actually vouch for, because when I do run out of it, I get a little antsy. And maybe it's because, again, it might be a placebo, but I am all aboard that placebo train and happy to have it. It's not one of the supplements that makes me throw up if I eat it on an empty stomach. That's iron. Found that out.
Oh, yeah.
It can reduce blood sugar levels. Might have anti-cancer properties. See, that's the thing. Anything that you tell me is Ayurvedic, like I drink green tea all the time and they talk about free radicals and antioxidants. And I'm like, oh, okay, all that stuff is good. That's also in ashwagandha. Great. Just adding to the antioxidants and all that stuff. Can reduce cortisol levels. Cortisol is the stress hormone that makes us hold on to fat too. So when you're stressed, you hold on to that fat. So having that stress relief aspect to it is something I like. May help reduce stress and anxiety, which I just talked about. May reduce symptoms of depression. Again, that's stress and anxiety for me. Can boost testosterone and increase fertility in men. Well, it's not for me, but if somebody else would like to try ashwagandha and let us know. May increase muscle mass and strength. I don't think I'm taking this like a power ashwagandha. Like I am not taking it to increase muscle mass and strength, but hey, if it's working. May reduce inflammation. That I feel like, oh, you just snapped your head over for that. But that's where I put it in the same category as green tea. Like it reduces inflammation because it just calms you down. You're not, I don't know. I like it.
You take it as a pill?
Yeah, I take it as a pill.
Because I never heard of this before. And I'm looking at it right now. And so this is amazing. I might have to try some of this.
I really like it. Like the thing is, it's not one of those pills that you take and you can tell, 30 minutes later it's in your bloodstream and you feel like a completely different person. It's one of those things that on days I take it, I feel the difference and I don't notice I feel the difference until I don't take it. And then I'm like, what's up? What's going on? Like I'm dragging. I'm irritable. I don't know why.
I don't have my ashwagandha. I don't have my ashwagandha.
I don't have my ashwagandha. Yeah, it may improve brain function, including memory. And actually, what's funny is I've gotten into such a routine with having my tea in the morning and taking my ashwagandha. Like, even though I go through other supplements and sometimes I'll be on an iron kick and sometimes I'll be on a magnesium kick, usually the ashwagandha is the one that I'm always going to, the first one. And I take it and it's kind of like, all right, I took my ashwagandha. I'm ready for the day. May improve brain functioning and memory, and is safe for most people and widely available. I get mine at Whole Foods, and I would look into how much you should take depending on your weight. Again, we talk about, we're not doctors on this show. I'm not telling everybody to prescribe it. Definitely do some research. I'll actually put in, there was a podcast episode I was listening to, and I don't think it's one I normally listen to. I've actually gotten into the weird podcast listening habit of going into Google Podcasts and honestly just searching for what I want to listen to today, what I want to learn about. So one day I was driving and I'm like, you know what, let me hear about ashwagandha. And I put it in a search and I just listened to a random podcast about it. And it was a really good one. It was a woman who was well-versed in Ayurvedic medicine and yoga and meditation, and she swears by it. She's like, actually, the serving size on most ashwagandha bottles, people should be taking double of. And I think I listened to that episode during like a 2-week period where I didn't have any, and I had just gone to Whole Foods and gotten more and was listening to it. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I took like 6 that night. Again, it didn't make me feel sick. That's one of the nice things. It's not a supplement that you can't take. You could take it whenever. I don't know if it affects fasting that much. I normally don't count supplements or pills as affecting fasting unless it's fish oil, that it's actually like, you will burp this up. This is clearly like a calorie thing. Yeah.
So I'm looking, I went to the one site I looked at has one that has 1,500 milligrams. Right, which is, that seems like it's a lot because I see one in here that has 460. But anyhow, one of the things it says it's not intended for pregnant or nursing women. And if you're taking any medications or planning for any medical or surgical procedures or have a medical condition, consult your doctor. And for me, being on blood thinners, I might have to talk to the doctor before I would do something like this. But I mean, you're preaching to the choir. All those ailments that you were talking about, I have in spades.
Yeah, it's one of those things that's like maybe not a magic catch-all for everything, but it makes me feel better when I take it. All
right, so we have Jessica Kupferman. So I put in here that we were going to, in the pandemic and everything, we were going to teach everybody how to Instapot animals. And she says, I'm so glad this is your topic because we found a dead animal in our yard and couldn't tell what kind it was because the face was chewed off a little bit. Recipe? Well, I would have to find out. I have questions. Is it, does it look like a squirrel? Does it look like a rat? You kind of got to look at those things because I would prepare a rat differently than I would prepare a squirrel. Just saying.
John is the expert on this. This is not in my wheelhouse at all. My dead animal approach is like, ew, get it away from me.
Right.
Wash your hands. Let's order a pizza.
What's the size of it? Could it be
raccoon or possum?
Right. Could it be a groundhog? Is it gray and silver? That's a possum. A raccoon, basically you could tell whatever, by the black paws and everything. Anyhow, just send us a picture. We'll identify it. We'll tell you how to cook it.
Send John a picture. John gets the pictures.
Send John a picture. Yes. How to Instapot the little creatures that are running around in your yard. In case we can't get protein in about 2 or 3 weeks. Oh, it's a raccoon or a possum? You could basically cook them the same way. But anyhow.
It rained, so it was many colors, she said. But the hands seemed raccoon. I always picture raccoon hands of always just rubbing together and going, excellent.
Yeah, they do that little thing.
Yes.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. You don't know how long it's been sitting, so I wouldn't eat that one. You have to freshly kill your animals to be able to make sure that they were fresh enough to eat. Just saying. Anyhow. So ashwagandha, I am very excited about looking into that a little bit more. I think I will talk to my doctor and say, okay, here's my medications. Will this affect the whooshy pill or the blood thinners I'm taking?
Yeah.
And then see what they say. Because, my memory is shot. It's ridiculous how quickly things go into my head and out of my head. Like, they don't even slow down. It's almost like watching cars go down a highway. It's like... Yeah.
Well, and part of the thing when reading about mindfulness and trying to learn how to meditate is being able to sit there and watch those thoughts without acting on them. And they say that mindfulness, especially for people with ADHD, it helps control our impulses because sitting there and seeing those thoughts happen and just trying to watch them happen, not trying to engage, not taking a thought and thinking, oh, well, what else could this be? Oh, how else could I do this? Oh, there are so many things I could add to this thought. And just watching them come in and out and trying to tell yourself, like, if it's important, if it will bring me to my goal, I don't have to worry about it right now. I can worry about this thought at another time. That stuff is so hard.
No, absolutely. I agree with you. And, again, with the affirmations and probably more mindfulness, maybe that will help with some of this stuff, or being, in the moment, or instead of just trying to multitask and, things are fluttering in and fluttering out. Maybe I have to focus on one task. And my, like I said, having the ADHD the way I have it's always been an issue, but it seems like it's worse now. And
well, it is. Stuff is going on that's stressing us out. That there are a lot of, this is not just me. It's my husband who works in newspapers, everybody he knows who works in newspapers. These thoughts don't go away when he turns off the computer anymore. And
right.
he's finding that he's really affected by it. And I've talked about this before. I was in newspapers for a long time. And when the Sandy Hook thing happened, we live in Connecticut, that was when I knew I needed to get out. It was like, I can't read this stuff day in and day out. I can't put these pictures on pages and have publishers say, good news, we got more ads because we had a terrible news day and people are bleeding, but we have more money. I hated that industry. I didn't want to be in it and I didn't want to worry about it anymore. And so I feel for journalists. I know there's so many people right now on the front lines of everything right now. And every so often I want to give a shout out to journalists who are reporting on the front line and definitely having their share of, please go get self-help. Please go get self-care. Please talk to somebody. Make sure those thoughts aren't too much.
Yeah, I found in the past, I would say 2 weeks, there has been some podcasts I listen to, news podcasts. And I could feel myself getting anxious listening to it. And I was like, you know what, why am I doing this to myself? I'm just going to shut it off. Mm-hmm. And I shut it off. So maybe I am being an ostrich, sticking my head in the sand or whatever.
It's not. there's so much information you need to know, and once you get the basics, you can move. Once you get enough so that you can live your life safely, you got to move on.
And then you don't know, because someone's, there people are saying, do this. And then you'll see an article that says, don't do that. It's like, okay, do this. And then someone will say, no, don't do that.
You know what it is? This is having a kid all over again and being afraid to post pictures of the kid online because everyone's going to judge. Everyone has something to say. I made the mistake once with my daughter when she was really young, posted a picture of her in her car seat. 3 different people had 3 different reasons why I put the seatbelt on wrong. And they all had to tell me, and it conflicted with one another. And I was like, I don't want to post this stuff anymore. I don't want to say things anymore when people are just going to, come out. And not even like for safety. The seatbelt was right where it should have been. And people were still just like, it's too low. It's too high. It should be right where her nipples are. And I'm like, how do you know where her nipples are?
So I have to mark her shirt so I can figure out the line?
Everybody, she's wearing a coat. You shouldn't wear a coat with it. And it's just like, I'm just showing you a picture of her in the car seat, not even in the car. I'm so, Jesus. Everybody has an opinion. And it's like, look.
I know.
Oh, this is why
yeah, exactly. You're exactly right. Like if you go through if I could show you my Facebook news feed, half the people are like, "Let us out! This
I
is
would
tyranny."
hate your Facebook news feed.
Right. And then other people are like, "These people are stupid. Don't go outside. You're gonna kill us all." And I'm like, "No. Come on now, people. We can figure this out. We're intelligent creatures. There is ways that we could do this.
Individually, we can be intelligent creatures. I don't think when we get together in groups, we're that smart.
Maybe. But what I'm saying is that, okay, if let's just say let's just say tomorrow they said, you know what? We were wrong. It's not that bad. You can go out. You know who wouldn't be going out? This guy.
Yeah, I know.
Because I'm not taking the chance. Like, Emily, again, you're mid-30s and healthy. And, if you have, unfortunately got this, I think you probably would be okay with this. You know what I mean? But the people with a high risk, they're the ones that have to watch out. The people that are low risk are going to get it. It's going to stink, or maybe not. Some will get it worse than others. And it's just, it's just being sick. Again, I don't know. I don't have the answers, and I'm not smart enough to know everything. But I think that if I was in my 30s, 20s, or something like that, and I needed to work, I would go out and start to listen, Ubers are still going on. Cabs are still being used. The subway's still being used in New York City. Buses, a lot of people, that's the only way they can get around, and buses and stuff like that. They're still using them. I understand it's not as many as before. And I think as a population, we're going to start doing things differently. I think a lot of people and a lot of companies have learned that people can work from home just fine. And they don't have to burn gas going back and forth. And, you can get a good solid 8 hours out of them at home. And, they don't have to do that kind of stuff anymore. So I think it's going to...
we found out that most of those meetings that I always thought could have been handled via email absolutely can. So many bosses I want to go back and be like, told you! Just saying.
Because they need something to do. They need something to justify their job. So they have to have meetings because they need to know what's going on. Well, look at this. We have Zoom and we can all do this. And most of us are still in our pajama pants. Mm-hmm. All right. And so you have things set up and you have an internet. And also, we can adjust and things will change. And just like when they came up with an electric typewriter and then they came up with the word processor. Yes, we don't have typewriters anymore, but we still are able to type things out. We change, we adapt, things go away, things come into play.
Maybe somebody like Tom Hanks will once again collect things like pointless meetings because he collects typewriters, and maybe somebody out there will collect pointless meetings that we never needed to have in the first place.
Yeah. We used to always have to have a Monday meeting at 10 o'clock, and we always had to have a Friday meeting at 12:30. I don't know why. Why those? They were the two staples because they were afraid you were going to go home early on a Friday, and they couldn't have that.
Oh.
So they would have you you'd have to come back to the office at 12:30 and make sure you were there for a meeting, and then we would have one Monday. I'm like, what happened over the weekend? Why did we have to have two? Can't we have like a Wednesday and a Friday, or Tuesday and a Friday, or something like that? So, yes, I do agree that things are going to change. I don't, again, listen, if they've said to tomorrow, go ahead out, it's fine. Not this guy. Not for a while. Not until they can find a way to a treatment that, won't make you, that can stop the pneumonia or something like that. Then maybe I would go out and do it. But until then, I'm hunkered down. I'll be here for a while. I got the internet. I can do my meetings now. I've been exercising a little bit more. I've been walking around a little bit more, getting my steps up. Yesterday, I fixed my dryer. I yanked that dryer out. I got up on a chair because I couldn't find my ladder. How do you lose a ladder in a house?
That's something that a kid takes.
Yeah, someone must have borrowed it. Anyhow, so I got up there. I put the pipe up on the hose on the pipe that goes outside the house, and then I hooked it to the back of the dryer, and I moved the dryer back in there by myself. And was I tired and out of breath afterwards? Absolutely. Did I feel better that day? Yes, I did. And I think it gave me more energy for the rest of the day. So the affirmations are helping with that. It's like, okay, I'm going to move today. I'm going to exercise. I know it's going to hurt in the beginning, and I know it's going to hurt afterwards, but it's something you have to do to make you feel better. And the affirmations have been helping with that. All right, let's get into the Winning Wednesdays.
Yes.
Winning Wednesday, Winning Wednesday, Winning Wednesday, Winning Wednesday.
All right, I'm going to start it off with Ingrid. I am seeing a change in my body since losing weight.
Woohoo!
That's when you know that things are going on, because when you start to see things like when you put on a shirt and it's loose and all that kind of stuff.
Those non-scale victories are the best.
They are.
Caitlin says, I'm finally finding things to cook that are dairy-free and healthy.
Veronica says, I'm doing my workouts.
Woohoo! Brenda says, water. I've been in a challenge this week with a Facebook buddy. 64 plus ounces of water, plus every time we have to go, we have to do 20 squats. I'm at 40 squats at 11:30.
I don't even, wow. That's a way to get exercise in.
Yeah.
Like every time you have to go to the bathroom, do like 10 push-ups or something like that.
Yeah.
I like the squats idea, though. Pretty good. Dave says, I've been starting my day on my exercise bike, affirmation app, taking my vitamins, and showering all before going to work. Consequently, I'm down 1 pound since Monday, trying to make these habits stick. I'm also tracking every bite in my FitnessPal before it goes into my mouth. John Buchanan, check out the meal function in my FitnessPal. It makes adding combos super easy. For example, my protein drink is milk plus a scoop, and I can have both of them at the same time. I often add chicken and peas. Boom, makes it easy. The other thing I love about my FitnessPal is at the end of the night, you can complete your diary, and it says if you keep having days like this, your weight will be X by this date, which is a nice glimpse into the future. And that is true. And I also have to get back into using my FitnessPal again because I felt like, I don't know, it was like portion control where like what Dave says, it's hard to put things together. But if you can lump things in together, I think it works out better. And it is all about making choices. And good for Dave. I mean, getting up, and I wonder what time he gets up in the morning, because I know he's got to be at the work at a certain time. Is he a 5 a.m.er? Is he one of those 5 a.m.ers where he gets up at 5 a.m.? Dave, if you're,
I know he has.
let us know.
He talks to the 5 a.m. Miracle guy or the Miracle Morning guy a lot, but I don't know if he.
I don't even know who that is.
Yeah.
5 a.m. Miracle Morning guy.
Yeah. The guy who wakes up at 5 a.m. every day and has a whole, I can't even roll my eyes because I also have a morning routine. He just does his at 5 a.m. So I think it's crazy. But
because it's weird because my days, like they end at certain time. Like last night, I didn't get to bed until like 1:30.
I never know my end of the day schedule. So it's hard for me to say, I'm going to wake up early because I'm like, I don't want to wake up early if I'm going to be up until 1. Doing something for work that I didn't anticipate, like this half an hour podcast episode that I have to edit, all of a sudden has 6 people in it. So it actually takes a lot longer than a normal half hour episode would take to edit, something like that.
Right. So, and also for me, what I do is like last night I said, okay, it's 1:30. So I'm going to set my alarm for 9:30. And I must have shut the alarm off and went right back to sleep because I don't even remember it. And then the next thing I know, I woke up and it was almost 10 o'clock. So for me, even though I can't go to bed the same time every night because of, clients and doing different things, what I try to do is set it once I go to bed, then take an 8 hours. If I wake up before and I feel rested, I will do that. In the afternoon sometimes if I'm exhausted and I go take a nap because I can nap and I enjoy taking naps. And then, so then I'll set and someone says, oh, you can't take a long nap. Yes, I can. So I'll take a 2-hour nap and then get back up and be refreshed and get back to it. So yeah, I don't.
After my ice cream with a side of ice cream last night, I took a nap. I woke up at midnight. I stayed awake for 2 hours and went back to bed and woke up at 7 a.m. with my son. And now I'm just like, I needed that 12-hour nap.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Zoe says she's been doing IF since December, and thanks to y'all. And I am thankful that my weight is holding steady through all this coronavirus stress. That's awesome, Zoe. Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think part of that's the stress too.
The stress.
Because remember, cortisol is that hormone.
Mm-hmm.
That's your stress hormone. And if you have a lot of cortisol in your body will not.
It's holding on to that
weight.
fat.
It is. It's
holding
on
to
it.
And that's one thing that is interesting about when people are under stress, and they've done studies of people in World War II in concentration camps looking at their bodies and what they held on to, why some people remained the same weight. They didn't actually lose weight or anything, even though their nutrition was completely different. There were people who didn't lose weight because that cortisol is holding on to as much as it can because it's in scarcity mode pretty much. It's really interesting.
Yeah. Sarah says, worked out 7 days in a row and finally able to jog with no knee pain.
Nice.
God, would that be a dream come true?
Teresa says, scale wins, 0. I feel like I'm working pretty hard and have been stuck for a while. It's discouraging. Non-scale win, I planted a bunch of basil seeds on my Bob Ross chia pet, and they are actually growing. She also says she has a 3.5-foot candle holder that has been transformed into a snack pedestal. Whether or not that is a win is a matter of perspective. Hashtag, it's a win.
I'm going Tim Ferriss low carb using beans instead of bread, pasta, or rice. I do miss these things a little bit, but I feel so much flatter, less inflamed, and I've lost 1.5 pounds already. I spent the first 3 months in Germany eating a lot of bread, cheese, and pretzels. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So I need a reset. I have 0 regrets, but I feel good and have some sense of control back in eating, and for my pants to get looser again.
Oh, bread, cheese, and pretzels in Germany, though. That's where it's at. You know, most
people... What about
people...
the beer?
And beer.
The beer, too. That's the good beer. That's like the one Stein beer, and then you're sleepy.
That's the thing. People talk about traveling and how they want to see all these places. I look at traveling as what food can I eat? And Germany sounds pretty amazing right now.
Yep.
Don says down 1.6 pounds this week for a total of 25 pounds lost since I started this. Woot woot. Yes.
That is great, Don. That is amazing.
I do love the memes. Oh my goodness. People are so funny in our group because we get to scroll through our group while we're looking at those Winning Wednesdays. And the meme right below it is Sarah put in, stop eating out, cook at home, and you'll lose weight. Quarantine determined that was a lie.
Right. How to cook the correct amount of pasta. Pour how much you think you need. Wrong. And I got to go back to this thing. Whatever amount of pasta I cook is whatever amount of pasta I eat. So I have been saying, okay, so now instead of taking the box, I take the box out and I pour it into a bowl. Okay, I have a bowl. And then I say, okay, that's how much pasta I can eat. And it's about half a box. So, yeah, so I've cut down, because if not, I would eat the whole box. Yeah. I sit there and eat the whole box in a day.
It gets deceptively small when it's not boiled. And then as soon as you boil it, yeah.
But no, I mean, but even if let's say it would make a rigatoni or whatever, and I would pour a pound in there and I would put the sauce over it and the cheese, and then I would eat it I would eat it at lunchtime, and then I would eat it at dinner. And then by the end of the day, it was gone. And that's too much pasta. Yeah. So you've got to trick yourself, or you've got to buckle down and just say, okay, I can't, because I always lie to myself. I'm going to cook this, and then I'm only going to take half of it and eat it, and then and it never works. So I can't eat it if it's not cooked.
Yeah.
So I have to go back and do that. All right. Well, you know what time it is now.
Let's go!
Ladies and gentlemen, now is the time for the moment you have all been waiting for. It's time for the weigh-in.
All right, so even month means John goes first, And this week I'm down a pound.
Woohoo!
Yeah, which I was shocked because, like I said, I ate 5 pieces of pizza yesterday.
I too ate 5 pieces of pizza yesterday, and I'm up 3 pounds. Yeah, I wouldn't give me that, but
No,
again,
it's
it's one of
okay.
those. I'm not even sorry. I'm gonna fix it. It's my.
I'm not even sorry.
birthday. It's my birthday.
All right, yes, you get a birthday week pass. It's not
Yeah.
a big deal.
I'm giving it to myself, and the other thing is, I'm not giving up. It's when
No.
it's nowhere near giving up. It's like, look, this week I'm gonna have fun. I'm gonna laugh at myself. I know exactly why those 3 pounds are there. That cake and ice cream and all the pizza I ate yesterday sat like a brick. That's not just one day either. There were a few days. There was a whole tub of cheesy poofs that is now down to like the bottom of that barrel is covered. And I'm like, oh, maybe this was a mistake.
Can we get a picture of you when the cheesy puffs are all gone, just holding it up to get the essence out of the bottom of the can?
Oh, that essence. Oh,
The essence out of the bottom of the can. All right. So Annette says, if you're cooking spaghetti, take your finger and thumb, put it together, make the okay sign, and put the raw pasta between that, and it's a perfect portion.
yeah.
Okay, we'll try it. But see, here's the thing. I don't buy spaghetti. I buy like the...
Like rotini and
rotini.
penne
I buy all penne, all that. Yeah, that's what I buy.
I know. And
right,
you know
little
what it
small
is when you
shells.
actually scoop out, it says something like a fourth of a cup of dry pasta, and you scoop out a fourth of a cup, and you look at it, it never looks big enough. It looks
No,
so
it's
tiny.
not. Right. It's not. I don't care what anybody says. Like, I'll take a cup of uncooked pasta, like small shells or macaroni, like the elbow macaroni, and then I'll cook that. That's, halfway decent portion. But no, I understand. But I don't really buy spaghetti because I'm not a big spaghetti fan.
Yeah, I know. I'm not either.
Because it's the twirling. It goes everywhere.
I don't
you
like
got to
working
twirl
for
it.
my food.
Exactly. I
Don't
just
make
want
me
to
work for my
stab,
food. If I could stab it, great. But
stab,
spaghetti,
shovel, and chew.
ugh.
Stab, shovel, and
Spaghetti's
chew.
like playing with food you've killed, like playing with your kill. I don't know. Just
Yeah, you need a spoon. You're doing the whole thing. Although I do love watching old Italians eat spaghetti with the spoon, and they're still talking. They got the wine, the spoon, the fork. It's almost like watching a guy conduct an orchestra the way in the mouth and I do like that. I'm not gonna lie.
I will say, watching the Netflix documentary Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat, they actually showed a lot of people eating, and I enjoyed watching people eating, even though it looked complicated.
I'll tell you what, that lady loves herself some food.
She does. Isn't it fun to watch her enjoy her food?
It's I'll tell you what, there's some of the stuff like she like the cheese she was eating. She's like, oh, I can taste the salt. I mean, she gets into it.
Yeah.
Like the time they went to the olive oil place and they were doing the pressing, and they went over with like wine glasses and they took olive oil and they were drinking the
She was
olive oil. Like
swirling
it
it
was wine.
around.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And I was like,
I
made me
know. I
sick.
feel like if it's fresh, maybe, but I can't picture just drinking olive oil. I don't know.
Now here's a word: spaghetti. You can twizzle.
Quizzle.
Is that? Was that mean twirl? Is that
I
what
like
that means?
Quizzle.
Okay, I like it. All righty. Well, we've yammered on about a bunch. We've learned a lot in this episode. We've learned that Emily likes cheesy puffs like John likes tapioca pudding.
Oh my God, it's so bad.
We've learned about the wonderful
Ashwagandha.
ashwagandha. It's not an herb. I don't know what it is. It's a root. It's something, but it's ashwagandha.
I feel like bowing every
and-
time I say it. Ashwagandha.
Ashwagandha. Ashwagandha. Now, when I meditate, ashwagandha.
Ashwagandha.
Ashwagandha. So,
I love all these Ayurvedic words. They're fun to say. They're fun to talk about.
Yeah,
So
I
much
think
better
now-
than English words where we're like, pass the beef. It's like, no, I would like to have ashwagandha.
well, the other thing is too, like when I stub my toe now, instead of saying a very bad word, I go ashwagandha. I think I'm going to. I want to see how many different ways I can work ashwagandha into my vocabulary.
Oh, you're going to start saying kiss my ashwagandha.
Kiss my ashwagandha works.
Or, oh, you're an ashwagandha hole. That's a little too
What
much.
a pain in the ashwagandha
What a pain
you
in the
are.
ashwagandha, for sure.
Absolutely. All right, so if you want to join us for the funny memes and get in there and hang out with us, very easy to do. hate2wait.com/Facebook. Just go in there. We have answer one question. And if you answer that one question, you're in. Very easy to do. And if you want to check out the show notes for this, just tap that information button, whatever, in your podcast listening device, or go to hate2wait.com. Very easy to do. All right, Emily, first of all, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Second of all, happy second anniversary.
Happy second anniversary, John. This has been a fun show to do. I think we should keep doing it.
Yeah, I think let's try another year.
Yeah.
All right. All right, everyone. And thank you so much for you. I appreciate you because you come here every week and you listen to this, and we love you. All right. Thank you very much, and we'll talk to you next week.
Later, waiters. We may have to stop. My friend just posted that Tom Jones and David Gilmour covered Purple Rain in 1992 and posted the video. And I'm like, Tom Jones and Purple Rain? What's new, Purple Rain? Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Purple rain, I love you. Yes, I do.